There we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of the Untitled podcast. I am your host this week, Ricky Williams, and I am joined by Vincent Hui.
Hey, how's it going? We're gonna talk the wars. That's the best thing to talk about, man, other than tech
Yep.
and movies and other fun stuff.
So, yeah, this week we're going to be talking all about the movie that's breaking records and shattering predictions, Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Wait, I thought we were gonna talk about that Kevin Hart movie with Ice Cube.
Nah, that's for next week. Um, Matt is now with us this week because
Boycott Star Wars. He
yeah
has no heart and soul.
his Star Wars card has been revoked. He is no longer got any nerd cred. Yeah, he basically sucks. Anyone that loves Star Wars, you can let him know how great it is. His Twitter is at MTWB. So shout him out, let him know how much he sucks. So my Twitter is at Ricky_Williams1 and Vince is VWHUI. I
Yep.
believe there's one for the show, but I don't know what it is yet. So
It's Untitled.
we're just gonna jump right in because we both have probably a lot to say, and we're also
Mhm.
gonna be talking about some of the questions that were raised during the movie. So I'm gonna go first. Vince is gonna go next because Vince is sort of the Star Wars aficionado. And he can break it down for all of us. So I'm
Oh,
giving more of the uneducated newbie Star
wow, no,
Wars.
no, it ain't a matter of education. Listen, man, it's like good art. You can interpret it however you see fit, and if it's deeper and not, it's okay. You just as
Yeah.
long as you enjoy it, it's good. All right.
All right. So I'm gonna start off my timer here. Okay. So, um, first of all, I'm gonna say that throughout the movies that we've done on here before, people who have watched us before kind of know that I'm more of my taste is not as discernible when I go in. The things that I look for in the movie is I want to be entertained. I want to enjoy it, and I just want it to pull me out of reality, pull me into the movie. And so that's why sometimes when I see people who do say, "Oh, that's not realistic," to me, I'm like, well, that's kind of the point of a
It's Star
movie.
Wars.
Not only Star Wars, but I mean a movie in general. Like if I wanted it to be realistic, I'd go watch a documentary. Um, and I'm saying that because I listened to a couple of people talk about it, and it just kind of killed me. Because for me, the thing is, if you're gonna talk on a podcast as if you know Star Wars, then you should actually know Star Wars and not talk about it you know, not knowing the backstory, not knowing, just knowing the movies, like not knowing the actual universe itself. But I mean, like you said, Vince, is subjective. I'm sure the things we talk about, there's gonna be people out there saying, "Oh, what's up with these idiots? They don't know what the hell they're talking about." Um,
Hmm.
but anyways, for me, I loved it. And for me, the thing is, like, I went with my wife, and she watched the newer trilogy. She never watched the
Prequels.
classic, yeah, the prequels. I
Mhm.
just call it the newer trilogy. But she loved this one. Like she said, it's from coming from someone who doesn't know Star Wars, who's not into it, she really enjoyed it.
Wait,
Um,
wait, wait. Can I just clarify this though? She did watch the original trilogy though too, right?
no, she's never
So
watched
she.
the classic ones. She just
Oh, so
watched the
this is
prequels.
that's huge, dude.
Um,
Because here's the
yeah.
question then. Like, I'm actually quite curious. I mean, spoiler alert. If you're listening and you don't know anything about the movie and you haven't watched it yet, then stop now because I'm going to drop some big things on you.
Oh yeah, I
How
should
did she respond? Yeah, how did she respond to Solo? Like, I mean, like, if she doesn't even like who's this random old man, right? And then, oh, why was I supposed to care about this old man dying? Like,
well, see, that's the thing. I'm gonna jump into that too, right? And so I'll talk about her thing. So that's one of the things for me. See, when I watched this, I understood. Um, like for me, I know a lot of people didn't like the prequels, and I'm saying like I said, my taste is not as discerning as some people. I loved all six Star Wars movies. For me, the thing was the classic trilogy introduced me to the universe, introduced me to Darth Vader, all the characters, the story. It introduced me. But for me, I was always like, well, how did Darth Vader get to that point? It was like the movie started in the middle of it, right? Like
Mhm.
I knew he was Luke and Leia's father, so obviously like he wasn't always on the dark side. So how
Mhm.
did that come about? And for me, that's why I liked the prequels, because they led me up to that point. They introduced me to Anakin. They kind of gave me that thing where
How the bad guys came about.
yeah, like how did Darth Vader come about? The fact that the Force will always balance itself because he doesn't have a father. The whole thing about this prophesied Jedi who would bring order, and they believed that it was Anakin, but then it didn't. It was Luke. You know what I mean? So I like that.
Oh
Um,
no, 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 no. That's how you interpret it? No, no, dude. Anakin is the one that restores balance of the Force, just to be clear about this.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because as Darth Vader, he
Yeah.
comes back. So he's Darth Vader, but then at the
Well,
end
yeah,
when
I guess, yeah, and then
yeah, right.
okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so for me, with the new trilogy, beginning with The Force Awakens, I knew that the classical figures, Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Leia, they're all gonna die because going forward, but I mean realistically, if you think about it, going
Yeah,
forward,
they're
that's why
old.
they introduced Ray, they introduced Finn, because these are the people who are going to take the trilogy. They're going
Mhm.
to do what Luke and Han Solo and Chewbacca, R2D2, C3PO, what they did, right?
Yep.
They're gonna be the heroes. Kylo Ren's gonna be the villain. He's gonna be the Darth Vader. You know what I mean? So in
Yeah.
order for them to take the baton, for to take up the mantle, the other guy's got to die. So that's why, like Vince said, spoiler alert, if you're watching this, you haven't seen the movie, you should know by now there's going to be spoilers.
What's wrong with
I
you?
really don't give a shit. So, Han dies. He dies in the movie. To me, that wasn't a surprise. I love him, but he wasn't my favorite character. But him dying, for me, I think they did it in the best way possible, because it shows how much his character has grown. Because he used to be Han who could talk his way out of anything, who would do whatever it took to survive, would, you know what I mean? Like he would get out of the
Yeah.
situation. He knew going into this that there was a 50-50 chance that his son, Kylo Ren, would either kill him or join him and go back, he knew that.
Hmm.
And as a parent, he was willing to take that chance. And so him dying was, and I mean, outside of the movies, if you know Harrison Ford, who plays Han Solo, you know
Yeah.
that he does not, like he wouldn't have wanted to carry on into the new trilogy anyways. uh,
Well, because he wants to do Indiana Jones now, right? So
yeah. Which Shia LaBeouf said sucked. So
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Anyways, for me, I loved it. We got introduced to Rey. She's on a desert planet. Surprise, surprise. Much like Anakin, much like Luke. Must be a Skywalker thing.
Live in sand.
Lead up
Like
to what we're gonna get into. She's a scrap collector. Then there's Kylo Ren. I think they introduced him. They showed how powerful he is because he stopped that laser bolt
the
from the
bolt.
gun,
Yeah.
and he was like walking around talking, doing stuff, and it was still there. But the thing, a lot of people I saw didn't understand. They were saying like, "Oh, he's like a little child, and he doesn't seem that powerful." But the thing is, at least for me, the way I see it is that it's showing, yes, he is sort of childish. He's not as trained because he has his temper tantrums where he
Yeah.
cuts stuff up, you know. But the fact that he could hold that laser bolt there shows how much, you
Well,
know,
yeah, I was gonna say it's more
natural.
raw talent. I was gonna
Yeah,
say it's
that's what I'm
in this
saying.
case he's
Natural
not.
talent that he
Yeah,
can do that
because
thing. And
he's
so,
effectively the grandson of the chosen one, right?
yeah,
So he's going to have
exactly,
that
right?
capacity.
So,
Sorry, just one other thing about that while we're talking about. The thing that's interesting about Kylo Ren is that not only does he exhibit just pure raw power with the Force, but he's also exhibiting some stuff in the Force that we've never seen before. So, like, I mean, the ability to stop the bolt, because only Vader was able to deflect them, but you never saw a Jedi or the Emperor, for that matter, deflect. Like
just
stop a
hold
bolt.
it there.
Yeah, and you also never saw the ability to interrogate. Like, you know how he was like turning on and turning off people? Like, he's like, yeah, you turn you off, right? He just at one point he turns off Ray, or he like, kind of puts his hand up and he like, mind melds with, Poe Dameron.
Mhm.
It's interesting to note that those are like, even when they were when in episode 4, when Vader is interrogating Princess Leia, he has to have that probe droid to help him out, right? So it's interesting to note that this guy not only has raw skill, and yeah, he has got temper tantrums and he can't control it. He also exhibits some interesting new powers that we really haven't seen in the Star Wars universe. Sorry,
Yeah.
man.
No, that's fine. But I think that's what some people don't understand is because they think because he did that, it's just raw talent that he has. He's not trained. That's why he has his little tantrums. But I think that's also a hint because, at least for me, the way I see it, with the classic trilogy, or actually with the prequels, you knew that Anakin was seduced to the dark side because he wanted to protect Padme.
Yep.
He had that dream about her dying, and so that's what seduced him. And then, whereas Luke and Vader, destroyed the Death Star and, peace to the galaxy, blah
Mm-hmm.
blah blah. And so with Luke training a new bunch of Jedis, you have to wonder, well, then what the hell was there to turn, Han Solo and Leia's son to the dark side, right? Like, what
Well, it's
is there?
seduction. It's the
Yeah.
seduction, not necessarily.
Well,
Okay.
for me, I think that's why they're giving you this. They're showing you that he has these raw skills. He has these new skills, like you said, that we've never seen. And so I think where Luke is training him to be a Jedi, he thinks that he is greater than Luke. And so like, who am I to take orders from this guy? You know what I mean? And
Really? That's how you read it, man?
yeah, I kind of read it
I
that
don't
way.
know.
That could be the way he got seduced, where Snoke was saying in his ear, you're greater than Luke. What,
Yeah, you think
you should
so?
come to the dark side. That's, I mean, I kind of,
I can see that, and I never thought about it that way because I understood it the following, that like, Leia actually says to Han when they meet, they go, I can't, I can't stand this, but we had to send him to Luke because there's too much of Vader in him, there's too much of his grandfather in him, right? So it was like a more of a controlling the kind of raw force, and then from what I understand, it didn't seem like Kylo Ren was kind of seduced or anything. I think, and I don't think he was seduced to be like an ego thing. You're implying that he was like, oh man, I'm better than Luke. But I mean, look at the way he responds to Snoke. Like he is like, he doesn't do jack all. He's quiet. He doesn't do anything. He's really quiet about things. He's like, tell me what to do, I'll do it, right? And even the insecurity that he's talking to a disembodied helmet. Like the reality is that if he was really talking to Vader, there'd be a Force ghost or something, right? But
yeah,
he's kind of off his rocker,
but
and
yeah,
go
but
ahead.
for me, what I'm thinking, right? Like, that to me, kind of, okay. The way I see it, right? I'll get into it. I think Ray. I mean, we'll get into it further. We've already said.
Yeah.
I think Ray is Skywalker's daughter. I'm still
Okay.
kind of iffy on it, but I see like Luke's training these Padawans, and like Ben Kylo
Mm-hmm.
Ren comes up to him and says, like, I'm not a Padawan. I should be a Jedi. I can do all these things. I can do greater things than you. And Luke says, it's just like Anakin. If you look at Anakin, when they said, no, we're not going to trade you as a Jedi, he got all
Yeah.
pissed off because he's like, what are you telling me? I'm the prophesied
Yeah,
one.
screw you, Samuel Jackson.
Exactly, right? So I think it's the same kind of thing. And then, so it's perfect for Snoke to come in and say, look, Vader was on the dark side. That's when he really saw the power of the Force. Like, he's kind of like that snake in the Garden of Eden whispering into his ears. And so that's why he holds such a regard for Vader. And that's why he sort of bows to Snoke, because he thinks Snoke is his way of attaining that level of, of him showing him the dark side, right? Like, I mean, that's the way I see it. I don't think
No,
maybe
I
I'm
could.
not a
Yeah,
100% wrong, right, but
I
that's
think it's still a very valid conclusion. I mean, like, there's so many questions that are raised with this movie, and we'll talk about that later. But
yeah, yeah,
I think that Abrams, I'm not sure if he does it because he knows that he's got the license, or that the franchise has got the license to do at least two more movies, so that you can leave a lot of open, dangling threads, so to speak.
mhm,
But I also think it's because it's a typical Abrams kind of thing. Like, I'm kind of expecting some sort of twist setup, right? And
yeah,
they
yeah.
drop a lot of hints, like, like,
Kind of like
whereas,
Lost.
yeah, well, this is the thing, like, unlike, say, movies, like, where in the old Star Wars movies, where you kind of felt like, if you watch Episode 4 again, like the original Star Wars,
Yeah,
you watch it and you go, "There's no way!" Like, it's a self-contained story, and they talk about the Clone Wars, they talk about a couple things, but it's not to, like, make room for, like, expansions or spin-offs. It's just like,
yeah, yeah,
to make
yeah,
it sound like it's a legit world. There's, like, other stuff that's going on.
yeah.
But in this, like, they will drop things and explicitly edit things out. Like, you ever remember when when they all visit Maz Kanata's
Oh, yeah,
little
yeah,
palace, and
Cantina.
then Maz Kanata actually turns to Han and says, "So, who's the girl?" And then right when he's about to say something, they cut the scene to something else,
Yeah, yeah,
and you're
yeah.
like, so that everyone kind of knows who
And
she
they
is.
never say her last name,
Exactly,
so it's like
exactly.
kind
So
of
it
lead.
yeah, so
Yeah,
it's a little bit more overt teasing,
yeah,
whereas in the original stuff, it was like, dude, when they start talking about Clone Wars, does that mean that, like, Obi-Wan Kenobi's like a clone because it's OB1, like the serial
yeah,
number, or, like, so you never knew, but because it was like, oh, it's very open. But this one is like, they leave so many things for you to start thinking about, going,
yeah,
whoa, really?
yeah. And then see another thing, probably two more things that I noticed. Like in this one where Finn is an actual human being and he's a stormtrooper, and they say like, oh,
And he's black. Dude, he's
like,
black. Did you know
um,
that?
yeah, I kind of noticed that. And they said, oh well, the we got them from birth, and we sort of brainwashed them and we bred them for combat. Whereas in all the old
Uh-huh.
ones, you kind of assumed that all the stormtroopers were just droids, right? And I think that's purposely done. And I think in the old one, the stormtroopers were droids.
Mm.
Some
No, no,
some
no, no, no,
you don't
no.
think so?
No, because there's conversations. Because first off, when when Obi-Wan's like, these aren't the droids you're looking for. It doesn't work on robots. It only works on people,
Oh,
right?
right,
Or
right.
living
Yeah,
things.
because you have
And
to
the
be
second,
willed,
weaken the force, or something,
uh,
weak-minded. And the
weak-minded.
second thing is, remember when they're on the Death Star and Obi-Wan's like walking by and sneaking around? You hear one stormtrooper go to the other one. He's like, "Hey, you noticed the new? What do you think about the new T-170s or something? Right? Like
Yeah,
basically
yeah,
talking about cars, right? So robots wouldn't do that. Like, you'd just be like, 'Yo, man,
yeah.
did you see that?'"
I guess. Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, maybe I never really thought of
Yeah,
that.
but look who you're talking to, man. Come on.
So yeah, the next thing that I want to bring up for me, like, one of the things, and we'll get into it later, which is why I kind of wanted to bring it up, is Finn's ancestry, because I read a few things online, and some people were saying that he's just a new character. There's no real
connection.
ancestry behind them. But for me, the reason why I think there is because of the fact where he says, he makes a big deal out of it, right? Like he's like, oh, I was taken from birth and I was brought into this and I never
Mhm.
signed up for it. And he's seen like all the other guys are brainwashed. They didn't have any problem. And he's the first one that we've seen who's actually broken away from it. Um, and the whole fact that he actually joins up with the resistance, you know what I mean? It's not like he just broke away from it and then took off, which I mean, yeah, a couple of times he did want to take off, but he still does the right thing. He still, joins up. And I think him making a big deal of him being taken at birth leads into who his ancestors are because it makes you wonder. Like I think if he was just a new character, he wouldn't make a big deal out of it. He wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. For
Okay.
me, I mean, it's
I
just
don't know. See, I have issues because on one level I always hear about like people saying, "Oh no, he is related to some sort of older character or something." And to me that's a problem because I can understand the following of the legacy of the Star Wars, I'm sorry, of the Skywalkers, right? Because the movie's effectively following the Skywalker family. So I can
family.
get that. It just happens to be that the movie's all about those guys. But when you start saying like, "Oh, is he so and so? Is he related to so and so just because he's black?" Right? I think that it's forcing it because, dude, it's an entire galaxy, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
it's like, what are the chances that when you and I have great grandchildren, that your great grandkid and my great grandkid are going to be sitting there going, "Yo, man," like, you know what I mean? It just won't happen. All right. As much as I think that'd be
we're gonna
cool,
be on a
I don't.
podcast.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, "Hey, yo, man, your great grandfather is some wacky crap about your dad." Anyways, but see, to me, it's all about just kind of forced coincidence, and we're gonna talk about that too because
Yeah,
there's just too much that people are trying to read in on the movie, and
yeah,
at the same time, there's too much stuff that just naturally happens as coincidence that you
yeah,
just go, "Come on, man, that's so forced."
yeah. Okay, so why don't you jump in with your take on it, and then we'll get to
Okay.
our questions.
Listen, first off, I say it's a good movie. I think it was enjoyable. I saw it a few times. I brought my daughter to it the first time. I made a promise I would see it with my older daughter because she never seen a brand new Star Wars movie. Like, I mean, the only time we ever really saw a movie in the theater was when the 3D episode 1 came out, right? And she was all over that stuff. So it was good, right? But since they never made the rest of the movies in 3D, we just kind of sat at that. But when this came out, she was like, "Okay, I want to see it." And I said, "Yes, we're going to see this because it's special to Daddy, and it's a good family movie. Like, yeah, there's violence and stuff, and bad
Where
things
can't you
happen."
see that? You see that in
Sorry?
My Little Pony. Where don't
Yeah, yeah.
you see violence?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's just like you're taking her to it, and she liked it. And the really interesting thing was, and again, you're talking about your wife. When my daughter, like, she watched all the movies, right? But when she was watching it, she's like, she's 12 years old, so she's trying to be a grown up woman, like holding it together. Han Solo gets killed, and she's crying. She's like wiping away tears with those big ass 3D glasses. And I'm like, "Is everything okay?" And she says, "Yeah." And then I talked to her at the end, and it's like, "Hey, do you know, like, why were you crying?" She's like, "He's just like an important person. Like, it's her dad." And I was like, "Yeah, all right. My daughter's got some redeeming qualities. She's actually going to care about me when I die."
Well, see, that's the funny thing, right? Because my brother, he was the same way when he watched the prequels. Because
Who
he
died?
did when Anakin, he didn't die, but when he killed all the younglings and
Oh,
he became Darth Vader, he started crying in the theater because he loved Anakin. He loved the character, and he watched all of the ones before, so he knew that Anakin turned into Darth Vader. But I think it was just the brutality of the way that they did it. Like the dude
yeah.
killed little kids, you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
broke him.
Well,
Like he hated.
I love, you know what? Honestly, of all the prequel movies, that one was my favorite movie just because it was so heavy and, like, yeah, it is messed up to kids. I mean, because, like, that, keep in mind when Obi-Wan gives that lightsaber, and for that matter, the lightsaber in this movie is the same lightsaber that kills like 30 kids. So, like, I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of messed up. But the movie I thought was very enjoyable for a super aficionado fan like me. And I know I'm not professing I know everything about Star Wars, but man, oh man, I liked it. I thought that one of the most distracting things, though, and I know J.J. Abrams has been trying to defend it, and he's got a lot of crap for it, that the movie is way too similar to Episode 4, right? They're both chasing after a droid. There's this big menacing guy. There's this big super base that destroys planets or systems. There's a little stupid architectural flaw that needs to be exploited, and then, oh, look, at the end, they all come together and everything kind of is safe. But I also found that it was, so not only was it too similar, like, at some point I was like, really, this is going to happen? Oh, I bet you anything it's going to be Star Killer Base, is going to be some stupid little flaw, and yeah, go figure, right? But the problem is that also, like, if you think about it in the two Death Stars, right? Like in every Star Wars movie, that like every trilogy, there's always like a big bad planet. Like, I mean, in A Phantom Menace, you got the big control ships. At the, to a lesser degree, you got big armadas and the big the clone army stuff and the droid army at the end of Episode 2. Episode 3, it's like the whole Anakin thing and the Order 66, where all the Jedi are getting killed. And, Star Wars Episode 4 is the big Death Star. Episode 5, it's, even though you don't think about Cloud City and stuff, but it's the total annihilation of the Hoth base. Like, basically the rebels just totally get killed in Episode 5. And of course, Episode 6, it's the annihilation of Death Star 2. But if you take a look at the big sequence, like the real space Star Wars, right? The problem is that they always showcase, like, you go inside the trenches and you're getting in there. That to me is the kind of cool stuff. When you see the ships fly through, that's the stuff. Like, I mean, I could see people shoot stuff. I can even see people with glow in the dark, laser swords fighting. That I kind of can imagine. But the thing that really got me when I was a kid was like flying a spaceship through these trenches. Like, when I was with my dad, I would tell my dad to drive really fast. I'd be sitting in the back seat and we'd be going underpasses. Like, there's sometimes there's underpasses that are like, and there's like, it's like you're driving in the trench, right? And I was like, oh, all right, we're just like waiting for that like 2-meter shaft to just drop the missiles. So I always loved the space battles. This time I was really disappointed in the space battle. Like, Star Wars means Star Wars, like stuff going on in space.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw the ships, but I mean, it was really cool to see the X-Wings fly in the atmosphere. Come on, man, that was pretty. And we saw in the commercials, but I felt that it was just like, okay, so this is gonna fly around and drop some bombs on, and like, boom, the whole planet.
Yeah.
What kind of crappy exploit is that? Right?
Like, I think with the classic ones, right? It was a big deal because it was Luke, right? You remember Luke was like, oh, like, he jumped in, he didn't go to the academy, but he's a hell of a pilot, and it's like, oh, like. And the same thing when Darth Vader would get in a TIE fighter, it's like, oh shit, it's like Darth Vader is flying, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's taking out all these other guys and stuff.
Right? And he'd be like, oh, I feel the Force, like, and he obviously feels Luke. But with this one, Rey never flies, I don't think. It's all
no, she flies the Millennium Falcon. Dude,
well, no, I mean, like, when they're
pretty damn good too.
When they're attacking the base, right? But I mean, obviously, like, that's another thing where she flies the ship. It's like a link to she's a Skywalker. Here you go, you know what I mean? But I mean, like, when they're attacking the base and stuff, there's no real, like, here's Luke in the plane, he's gonna do it. He goes the first time, he doesn't. You're like, oh shit, what's going on? Is he really gonna? There's none of that, right? Like,
now it's just like there's a target somewhere and there's drop bombs. You see some blow up, and it's like, oh, that's it. And like, I mean, again, let me just go on this whole thing about the coincidences. Like, you're asking, and I sent the message earlier. I was like, look, man, there's so many coincidences. Like, how does like, I'm working my way backwards, right? Like, how is it that she is able to touch the lightsaber and magically she becomes like ninja mad skills, like lightsaber Jedi? Right, that this guy's been training, possibly to a certain degree under Snoke, but certainly under Luke Skywalker. So he's got some Jedi training and probably some badass dark side training. And yet she's like, yeah, sure, he got shot by like the big crossbow thing, but still, man, she's holding her own pretty well. The fact that BB-8 only comes to life when R2-D2 comes alive, not the first time BB-8 comes, but just suddenly once the whole planet's safe, R2's like, yo man, okay, now that we're safe, let me show you the map, right? Like that was kind of weird. Or like, even when you're looking at just the nature of the ship being picked up, like, they abduct, they leave on the Millennium Falcon, and then suddenly They fly out for like 2 minutes, and then boom, they get caught in a tractor beam, and it's like, oh yeah, it's Han Solo and Chewbacca of all people, right? Or like, and I said this even like it's a small little detail, but like, so Finn was a janitor stormtrooper, and therefore he knows how to blow up the entire this big satellite. It's not even. It's supposed to be bigger than the Death Star. That's the craziest thing.
It's supposed to be the whole planet.
Yeah, so this gets me even more kind of messed up, because the Death Star, I could imagine, was a big super station, and it's no moon, but it was movable, and you can understand that. Okay, so maybe it got out of out of hyperspace, and it would be right in front of Alderaan, and then it'd have to kind of orient itself. Like, that's what I found was weird. Like in episode 4, it's like, okay, so we just got the Death Star right in front of the Yavin base to blow up the rebels, but hey, wait, okay, we just flew out there and stop. Let's rotate ever so slowly to line up the beam to blow up the planet. And then here, it's like, okay, so let's have this thing. I already know how an entire, not a moon, but an entire freaking planet is able to move from solar system to solar system. That makes no sense to me, right? I'm pretty sure there's some weird, I don't know, like planetary physics breaking.
I don't think it moves, though. I think they use the planet to suck
the sun,
power of the sun, and then
but then it kills the sun. So this thing, it goes to a system. Okay, let's assume it's in that system.
Oh,
so sucks up the sun. The sun gets killed. So doesn't that effectively just kill the system by just taking out the sun? Like, you don't have to just be a complete dick about it and just blow up the planet too. Like, it's like, I can suck all the sun's energy out and just leave you guys to die slowly, or I'll blow your ass up. But then when they're talking about going from, they blew up the Hosnian system, right? Like, yeah, sure, it's cool that it blew up several planets at the same time. That's kind of cool. But then it's like on its way to another place, and it's like, okay, that's kind of cool, but wait a sec. This is an entire planet. Planets don't move unless there's some sort of like solar gravity well or something that's going on. So it never is really clear about that. And I'm just thinking like, okay, so if it took an entire Death Star to blow up the planet Alderaan, it takes basically like one little ship or a couple of little ships to block up the solar like oscillator or whatever the hell you call it to cause the entire station to blow up, right? I still don't understand the logic of it. Like, listen, man, I like the movie, but it's just some of these coincidences, some of these questions, they just took me out of the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like, even at the very beginning, when you're like, okay, so this guy's like Darth Vader, he's kind of cool, he's able to fight and all that stuff, but I just found it really weird that he just, like, why can't this guy just kill everybody? Like, if he was really strong with the Force, he could have done a whole bunch of things to get rid of the village. He could have interrogated. He could have done a whole bunch of things. How is it that, he, in the interrogation of Kylo, when he's interrogating Poe Dameron, why would he leave him alive? Or like, I mean, he got all the information. You just kill him. Like, why do you leave him there so that he can be abducted by Finn to escape? Which, incidentally, so another coincidence, they both escape. So Finn stays alive. Story follows him, but then magically Poe Dameron shows up later, and you're like, didn't that dude die? Like, it's like, no, man, I didn't die. And then you're just like, oh, okay, sure, dude's alive, right? So there's some serious plot holes that you just go, wait. So when I watched it, like,
the thing is, I heard that
he was supposed to die.
Yeah, he was supposed to die, right? And then for some reason, I guess, I don't know if he's too good looking or whatever, but someone was like, "No, we got to keep this guy alive." So they were just like, "Oh shit, how do we do that?" Okay, we'll just say he flew out the window and.
Yeah, but magically his jacket came off. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, your jacket will stay. You over there, right? And it's like, wait. So you're telling me that he came back awake, he regained consciousness, and he said, "Forget the black guy, I'm out," and just left him. Like, I don't understand this. Like, so if you were like, if this guy saved you, got you out, and you came to consciousness first, wouldn't you be like?
Yeah, but
hey,
I guess he thinks he's dead, right? Just like how Finn thought he was dead because this ship got swallowed under, right? So he was just like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, come on, man! It's implied that he's just lying down on the sand, right? It's not like he's like kicking him. Like, I'm pretty sure you'd notice he breathed, right? Like, come on, like, let's be honest here.
No, but I think they're saying like he was ejected and thrown like way far away, so he doesn't even know where the hell they are.
Okay. Like, listen, maybe that works, I guess, because I can imagine it happening.
What I'm thinking is, because remember when Finn meets Rey, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's on the same planet.
Yep.
And the TIE fighters come down and bomb the shit out of it. Like,
Yep.
I gotta think, like, the whole planet's gotta be aware of that. Like, how did Poe not know? You know what I mean? Or
I
did he
think that
just
the rationale is that Poe would have escaped by then. See,
buy
they never
that?
explain how, but like remember, because you don't tell you exactly how long Finn's walking across the
Yeah,
desert to
yeah,
get to.
that's true. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
And
anyways, I just
and I
thought that
gotta
this.
say, like, the scene with her inside what I'm guessing is one of those big ass armada ships.
Oh,
That
the
that was
destroyers, Star
yeah, that
Destroyers.
was kick ass. That was
When she was flying it, or when
uh,
she was
no,
actually
no.
climbing.
When she's climbing through to get the parts, like that was some
Yeah.
Lara Croft kind of shit, man. That was,
No, no, you know what I thought was cool? Again, I'm a big sucker of the flying scenes when they fly, just flying it through. Like it's like, to me, it's a nice nuanced acting. Like the fact that she's driving and she's flying it, and then the gun goes down, and she realized that, oh man, she can't outmaneuver like three TIE fighters, and she says, then she's flying around, she
oh
goes, hey, and she's like, it just like the facial expression when you see it just clicks. She's like, shit, I got a plan, and they fly into the Star Destroyer, and she knocks out a
yeah,
couple.
that
And
was sick too.
yeah, but it's good. And then it's like, oh shit, the gun's messed up. So guess what? Flip upside down, turn off the power, and then I don't know how the gun works, but sure. Like I mean, I think that yeah. But it was all in all, it was an enjoyable movie. I think it posed a lot of questions, and I think we can get into them right now because I think that's what a good movie is. That it leaves you going, yeah, it was a good movie, it was entertaining, but I can't wait to see the next one. And you know
Yeah,
what? They just announced today that they're going to make it so it's going to come out in the winter in Christmas.
yeah, I think December, right?
Yeah, so it'll be next year. It's going to be Rogue One, one of the standalone movies, and then the next year at Christmas time, it's going to be
Yeah,
the next
episode.
episode.
Yeah.
So let's start off with those
Okay.
questions, man.
So
You
we'll
want to
jump
start?
into some. I'll start. So these are some of the questions that we found were left behind by this. So I'll start with the big one, which I think a lot of people are wondering, and that's who is Rey's family. So there's a couple of theories. One is that she's Luke Skywalker's daughter. One is that she's Kylo Ren, Ben Solo's twin sister, which would be Han, and Leia's
Mm-hmm.
twin daughter. And one is that she's Obi-Wan's granddaughter. Now, for me, most of the movie, I thought she was Luke's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I kind of had a problem with it, a little bit, whatever. The reason why I think so is because, again, there's that scene where she touches the lightsaber and she has that Force dream thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, she's in a desert planet like Anakin, like Luke. She's good with flying like
Mm-hmm.
Anakin, like Luke. She's good with mechanical stuff, taking them apart, whatever. So there's a lot of similarities. The whatever president of Lucasfilms or whatever already said that.
Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, already said that the movie is a Skywalker family saga.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so if she were, Ben or Luke and Leia and Han's twin daughter to Kylo Ren, she wouldn't really be a Skywalker. She would be by blood, yes,
Oh,
she's
come on.
Leia's
She
daughter,
technically got.
but her last name wouldn't be Skywalker, right? The reason why I kind of have a problem with her being Luke Skywalker's daughter, why would he
It's too
leave her
easy.
there? Right? Like, why would he
Yeah.
leave her on the planet? Like, he's not afraid of the First Order. He just chose seclusion. Why wouldn't he go back and pick her up and bring her and say, hey, we're secluded. I'm going to teach you the Force. The thing is, I know a lot of people have said that she was one of the Padawans and, her mind was wiped because sort of safety for her.
Uh,
And I think
I
it
find
kind of
that really.
explains why she exhibits she's able to fight with the lightsaber. She's able to go against the mind control of
Yeah,
Kylo's
Kylo Ren.
interrogation. She's able to do the thing with the storm. She even knows how to do that, right? Like she didn't even know who Luke Skywalker is. Like she's heard
Well, she
stories.
knows she
Like,
does. Yeah,
oh,
there's a myth.
real?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you know what I mean? But how would she know to do that? But my thing is then who is his love interest? Um,
Oh,
No,
well,
I
I
don't
think
know. I think, yeah, like I think that they purposely do that because they leave it open so that they can develop whichever one they want for the next movie. Um,
okay.
the reason why I wouldn't think that she's Kylo Ren's twin sister is I understand in the original Luke and Leia are twins, but that makes sense that they wouldn't know because it was a time where the Imperial forces were, the rebels were like, so they had to
On the
split up.
run,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Yeah, they're on the run. They split up the kids. They didn't want
Best
Darth Vader
chances.
to know. Again, here times are peaceful. Leia had her kids. Why the hell would they split them up? Throughout the whole movie, she not only sees Han, she sees Leia. She sees them. How could they not know that that's their daughter? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With her being Obi-Wan's granddaughter, I don't
No.
know. Some people
No.
said, she heard his voice
Based on the
calling her
accent.
name or whatever. I think that's a little more far fetched.
No, 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 no. See, see,
So
see. Let me explain that one. Okay. So I think that the only way people explain it as Obi-Wan's granddaughter is because two things: because it's the voice, and because she's got that accent, right? Like, why is it that she has this accent when nobody else in the Skywalker or Solo family has that accent? The thing is about the voice, it's not uncommon. Remember that when Anakin in Episode 2 starts killing all the Sand People for killing his mom, he hears Qui-Gon's voice, okay? And Qui-Gon was not officially his master, wasn't related to him anyway, but it was just a call from the Force to say, "Yo, no, no, Anakin," right? So that I can kind of explain. The issue about her being related to Kylo Ren, I agree 100% with you. I don't think that they should be related. I think that he refers to her as the girl. And the response that you get from Leia would recognize her own kid, right? Like
that's what
mothers
I'm
know this.
saying. Like,
Yeah, so she wouldn't be like,
and
hey, and like,
she's
yeah, she hugs.
Skywalker, so she has a bit of the Force. Like, you're not.
Well, no, no, but remember, Darth Vader in Episode 4 interrogates Leia and doesn't go, "Yo, man, that's my daughter," right? So, and he's the
Okay.
chosen one, right?
Yeah, I
So,
guess that's kind of
right, yeah, but here's the thing. So, I think that Abrams again is trying to throw us off because when Han Solo's like, "Hey, maybe I could offer you a job. Maybe you take this gun." Like it's like trying to imply that he feels guilty. Like when she says, "Oh yeah, I have this dream about something," and the camera pans to him and he's like, "Ah, crap," right? It's implying like "Oh man, he's a deadbeat dad," and you're like, "No, not really." Now the thing about Skywalker, so I would agree that the biggest chance would be that he's a Skywalker, but I think that's too easy. I really think I hope to God they don't make her just a Sky. Like maybe there's some sort of.
I kind of hope so, but then that's because
I
Luke's
want no.
kind of like my
I,
favorite of the whole.
I know. Listen, Luke is my favorite too. Everyone likes Han Solo. I like Luke too, but I just don't want it to be that easy. I want
Yeah.
it to be like there's a reason why, and I don't want it to be a stupid mind wipe because I think that's a cop out. It's a cheap way. Now, with respect to the question that you're asking, like who would Luke have married? And I was listening to another podcast because I'm a diehard Star Wars fan. The thing is, people have actually visited the site of that filming at the very end of that movie, and they've said that if you look at it very carefully, and this is probably going to be better when the Blu-ray comes out in a couple of months. Luke is actually standing at what looks to be a tombstone, like on the ground, right? And people that have gone to the site have said there is no tombstone there, there's no rock there, right? So that is placed for a reason. So they have conjectured that he's there paying his respects, knowing full well that his daughter or his niece or whatever is coming back,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why. So
But
so I can kind of see that.
yeah,
Now,
one of the other things I was thinking too, right? Because remember, Anakin didn't have a father, right? Like,
yeah.
his mother wasn't taken off of Tatooine. Only he was.
Mhm.
She married that
Mhm.
other farmer dude. They had
Yep.
kids. This could
Mhm.
be like her other daughter,
So,
which would be like
well,
their cousin, which she'd still
yeah,
be
but
Skywalker.
so here's the problem with that because the way Anakin was created was basically it was implied that Darth Plagueis has so much mastery over the Force that he basically got a way to make the Force do his bidding, but he needed a woman to actually go. So he just like kind of manipulated the Force inside that woman, basically Anakin's mom, right? That's what's implied there. I also think it's difficult. Maybe I'm just because I'm Asian and I just don't see the age differences here. But what's the difference in age between Kylo Ren and Finn? Sorry, not Finn. Rey. How much
Yeah,
is it, like because here's my problem. To me, it wouldn't be more than 5 years, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking if there was a 10-year-old and a 15-year-old and they were training under the camp in like, Jedi Camp 101, right? And they had to mind wipe. I think that it's really weird to assume that they're too close in age, right? They're too close in age to say save one, get rid of the other, right? I think that's a problem, and it's a really terrible story thing. So that's why it's like, again, it's like Abrams lost. It's like, man,
but I mean, they wouldn't have said save one, get rid of the other, because Kylo Ren was the one who betrayed Luke, right? He was the one who was killing all the Padawans.
Yeah, but you could have basically Luke. There's no need for the mind wipe because effectively Luke could have just taken her, trained her to be really badass, and say, okay, once you're trained, I'll send you over to like hang out where Dagobah is or something, right? So that you will never get picked up, right? Yeah. That could work, but no,
in the next movie, that's what they're gonna do, right? He's gonna train her. It's gonna be the classic Luke and Yoda training all over again. Like, she's gonna be stubborn. She's gonna be holding back. He's gonna.
Well, I don't know. She picked up really fast, man. Like, think about it. Luke goes to hang out with Yoda for God knows how long, right? to basically take on Vader, and Vader's toying with them, right? And then he has to wait like 3 years after Empire Strikes Back to like get his stuff together, get his hand put together, train with his new bionic arm, and like get some real force skill, right? So he can force choke stuff and all that. But this girl, she can pick up a lightsaber. She's able to like do the thing that, to get the lightsaber out of the snow. Like Luke had to learn how to use the Force by piloting an X-wing to Death Star 1. Had to like have whatever number of years between Star Wars and Empire, and to just basically pull a lightsaber out of snow. This girl does it like, yo, man, bam, done. So I think that there's something iffy. Anyways, let's keep on going to these questions, though, man.
So yeah, next one up, we kind of talked about it, is who's Finn's family. So theories out there. I mean, there's not a lot. He's black, and the only two major black guys in the Star Wars universe is Lando.
No, there's Captain Panaka and the Queen's Guard from Episode 1.
Okay, well, I don't remember any of them, so that shows you how. And like I said, I think him hinting at it is kind of saying that he is gonna be from one or the other.
Well, I don't think it would have been Mace then, because Mace, first off, was a hardcore Jedi. He wouldn't mess around with breaking the rules. And second thing, like Finn is clearly not attuned to the Force, right? Like, he tries to hold this lightsaber, gets his ass kicked by a stormtrooper, right? So, like, I mean, stormtrooper beat your ass. That's got to say something, right? Yeah. So I if anything, it might better be Lando, but even still, I couldn't see that.
I think if he were just a new character, though, I would like that.
Yeah, I think everyone would be okay with that.
Yeah, I think that would be, because, like the original trilogy developed these characters, drop some new ones in there that are gonna be, people forward.
People liked Lando. People liked, let me think, Boba Fett, right? And they have no direct relationship
exactly,
to the Skywalkers, right?
Yeah. So the next one, which I brought up, and you're gonna expand on this, and I wanted to talk about it because I don't think I'm the only one who thinks this. And my thought is, so Ben Solo would be a Sith because he's training under a Dark Lord, Snoke. But usually the Sith, the first name is Darth Vader, Darth Maul, Darth Plagueis. So how comes his name is Kylo Ren instead of Darth Ren or whatever?
So this is where it gets a little bit geeky because if you know the movies a little bit more, and they kind of allude to it, you can be a kind of Sith Force user, but to be a Darth, you have to be like one of the Master or the Apprentice, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's very there's the rule of two. But the thing is that first off, Snoke, who is basically the mentor for Kylo Ren, is not Sith.
Oh, he's not a.
He's attuned to the Force, kind of like how Maz Kanata, like that
Oh, okay, I see.
Lupita Nyong'o character.
Mm.
She's attuned to the Force, but she is not a Force. Like she's not a Jedi, right?
Yeah.
So Snoke is basically attuned to the Force. Yeah, obviously the dark side pervades it, and certainly with Kylo Ren, it pervades it. But he is not like the Master Sith. I don't think they've actually delved into explaining if there even is a Sith order, right?
Or
I think that,
yeah.
and they further explain that Kylo Ren, it's not like he just said, "Yo, my street name is Kylo Ren." The thing is that there is an order, like basically, again, this is more of the kind of unread. Like you have to read the books to know the stuff. But you know that village that they beat down at the beginning of the movie? They kill all the people. That's actually a village that's like a kind of commune for people that worship the Force. They're not Jedi because they're not strong with the Force, but they worship like balance of the Force and stuff. So that is a village of just Force users. So they worship the Force. Apparently, the Knights of Ren is a group that's like not worshiping, but very much affiliated with the dark side and the Sith stuff, and that's why Kylo Ren. Ren is an appropriation of that group, right? So that's why. But I don't know what the relationship between the Knights of Ren and Snoke is. But you remember that the flashback scene when Rey picks up the lightsaber. My suspicion, based on what they've shown, is that I think that at some point, Kylo Ren, who is older, I don't know by how much, but he basically says, "I'm sick and tired of the Jedi," and he leaves Luke, and then he comes back later on with his Knights of Ren buddies, all badass and stuff, and basically, I suspect in the flashback scene, what you're seeing is they're killing all the Jedi, but then they finally see this girl who is probably Rey, and for some reason, Kylo Ren just refuses to kill a little 5-year-old kid or something, right? And you see that there's a lightsaber that goes through one of the Knights of Ren, one of the bad guys, and it's a red lightsaber, right, in that flashback. So my assumption is that that's seeing into the future, right, and not into the past, that's seeing in the future, and that it's basically Kylo Ren going, "Ah, shit," and he kills the guy that's about to kill the little baby, and then I think he might have something to do with saving Rey. Because then that could explain why he goes, "The girl."
Oh, the girl,
that girl, right? Is it that one, right? Because he doesn't know who she actually is by name, but he knows that there's the girl, right? So that's my kind of explanation for things. Again, but I can't tell the difference. Again, this sounds terrible about white people, but I don't know how old Rey is relative to Kylo Ren. Honestly, how old would you say? It's like 10 years?
Like for me, I felt like I didn't think so. I thought they were. I don't know. I like Rey.
So you can't tell either, man.
16 or 17, whereas Kylo Ren, I felt like he was like 23.
Ooh, come on, man! Seriously.
But yeah, so let's jump into this one as the last one. I think this is a pretty cool one. And we'll go, what predictions do we have for the next movie? I'll go first because you're a little more hardcore. I think your predictions will be a lot more
I don't know, man.
On tune. So for me, I think because when I saw in the flashback, what I saw, one part that was interesting is you see R2-D2, you see a mechanical hand reaching up to him, which is obviously Luke's hand. And you see, I mean, it went by pretty fast, and I only saw it once, so maybe I'm wrong, but I felt like there was kind of a lava kind of flow to it, which is kind of like when Obi-Wan and Anakin were fighting, they were on that lava planet too, right? And we see in the end, so there's Rey and R2-D2 and Luke on the same planet. And if you remember, Han Solo was like, if I can find the Millennium Falcon, you've got to think the First Order can find it too, easily. And we know that the First Order has parts of the map because I think Kylo Ren said it where he's like, they found it from the Imperial libraries or whatever. They're just missing that one piece. My thought is that in the new movie, Luke's gonna train Rey in the Force, like to be a Jedi. Whether we're gonna find out who she is, whether she was mind wiped, whatever. I think Kylo Ren, he's in hot shit now because he didn't get the other part of the map. I think that other Hux dude's gonna come in and say, we found the Millennium Falcon. It fits into the map of the unknown area. Luke's got to be there. I think Kylo Ren's gonna go there. He's gonna face off with Luke. Like I said, all the older characters are gonna die. I think he's
Mm-hmm.
gonna kill Luke, and
Hmm.
that's gonna set off Rey because she's seen him kill Han and now kill Luke, and she's gonna be like, "Yo, this dude's got to go down."
Hmm. See, I think that's a pretty good theory. And I think, honestly, that's probably the more Disney way of going about it. But I have this more convoluted theory. Okay, now listen up. I know I got a little bit of time, but here. My proposal is this, that like all Star Wars movie sagas, right? It's a big arc, right? Like in, watch episode 1 or something, you think Anakin's a good guy, and it turns out that he's a bad guy. You watch episode 4, you think Darth Vader's a bad guy, it turns out he's actually the best guy, the good guy, right? This is my crazy theory. My thing is that even though Kylo Ren kills his dad and like annihilates lots of people and has anger management issues, is that he will actually redeem himself by the end of this trilogy. Okay, and I would even go so far as to say there's a possibility that Rey goes bad. Okay, and let me explain why. Because if what I said was kind of my hypothesis that he's basically saving her and all that stuff, my also suspicion is that what is he saying to Darth Vader? He's like, listen, I'm going to finish what you started. Well, if he knows the deal, he knows that, because he's not like he's miscommunicating. He knows that Darth Vader went to the good side and saved everybody. My sense is that he's basically, this is just my crazy theory. Like I agree that 100% that they're probably going to go down your route and say like Rey's a good girl and like Kylo Ren's going to kill Skywalker and get her off, right? You know what I mean, get her off. But what set her off. Sorry. But what I'm saying is that Kylo Ren, maybe he thinks that he is going to finish the legacy of eliminating the dark side, all of that stuff. So he thinks that he's going like undercover, and he's trying to kill all of the bad guys from inside, right? So my suspicion is that he, like, even when he's taking on Han Solo and he goes, listen, I got to do this. And then he goes, you got to do what you got to do, son. And he's crying. And so he does it. And then, like, let's be honest here. If Han Solo wanted like to be a badass, he would have pulled his son down. But no, he kind of understood the situation. So my suspicion is that Kylo Ren is going to, and he's just, maybe he might have talked to Luke about this earlier or something, but he's going undercover to try to take out all of the dark side. That's why when they went and tried to kill with the Knights of Ren and stuff, maybe he tried to save Luke Skywalker's daughter or something, and he's trying to kill Snoke, but he's trying to do it from the inside. So he thinks he's the best guy. He thinks he's trying to finish off what Darth Vader started, which is eliminate all the dark side, because he's trying to balance it all out himself, because he thinks it's his own ego. Like, the guy's not fucking all together, right? But I think he might have, this is my theory, that he wants to go and help out continued legacy, fix balance, bring good, and in the process, this girl that's really good right now, she might just go, whoa, you're killing Luke and you're doing all this bad stuff, and you killed your own dad, like the guy that was about to give me a job, and like, the closest thing I got to a real dad. And she might actually go and get tempted. She might not go full dark side, but I think she might get tempted. And I agree with you too that I think Luke will probably die in the next movie, but I really want Leia to die. So that's just my call.
Okay, so see, yeah, that brings up a couple things just to finish it off. See, a lot of people, I heard that when you brought it up, I remember they were saying, like, he killed Han, he can't be redeemed. I'm like, dude, Anakin becomes
Killed
Darth
kids.
Vader.
He
He
blows up a
killed
planet.
kids. Like, he killed kids. Do you understand that? And by the end, everyone was like, damn, Darth Vader's the man. Right? So I
He is the man.
like you, I thought, yeah, I thought also that Kylo Ren would redeem himself. And like you, I thought it would be interesting. I didn't think so. I really don't think they're gonna do it. I think they might
No, they're
do
not
the
going to do
thing
it. I think
where
it'd be cool if they
I
did.
think, yeah, I think they're gonna do it where she's kind of tempted, but they
Yeah.
won't go all the way. But I also thought, wow, that'd be kind of cool if they made her be the bad guy in the end. But yeah, I definitely do think he's gonna redeem himself. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I do think he's gonna kill Snoke, because for him to go and face off against Luke, I think there's no way he's strong enough. Um, and what Snoke saying, bring him so he can finish his training, with Han saying, listen,
Mm-hmm.
he just wants you for your power.
To use you. Yep.
Once he gets what he wants, you're done. I think he's gonna go there. He's gonna do his training. He's gonna be like, shit, I'm powerful now. See you, Snoke, whatever the hell your name is, and then he's gonna, go whatever. But I think I'm looking forward to it. I really can't wait to see it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it was a good movie. There were some flaws for like diehard people, but I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's still enjoyable, man.
yeah, yeah. Okay, folks, so that has been our Force Awakens episode. Next week, we will be talking about, hold on, let me just
Dragon,
get this.
Dragon.
Dragon, the Bruce Lee story.
Yeah,
So
man.
join us next week for another episode of Untitled. See you
Just
later.
let me say this though. I have a sneaking suspicion we're gonna have who's gonna drop the first Chinese racist joke next week. I'm just saying that
You
right
know
now.
it's gonna be Matt who always
Yeah, exactly. Chinese, Japanese, Korean, whatever.
Mexican checkers.
Yeah.
I gotta say. All right, take it easy.
Yeah.